climate change increasingly risks Pacific security and sovereignty on land and sea due to sea level rise, a warming ocean, disaster, and displacement. These challenges are no longer the problems of the future. They are some of the largest risks of today. Addressing these challenges in the Pacific will require understanding and partnership between the leaders of today and the leaders of tomorrow.
Aloha, my name is Michael Chapman. I'm from Honolulu, Hawaii.
My name is Kalita Titi Homasi, and I'm from Wellington, Aotearoa, New Zealand. I was born and raised on Funafuti Island, the capital of Tuvalu.
Hi, my name is Georgia Nichols. I'm from Amherst, Massachusetts in the US, but I spent a lot of time in Vanuatu, the Pacific Islands, where my mom was born and raised.
Aloha, my kako. My name is Conrad Morgan. I was born and raised here on the east side of the island of Oahu in Hawaii.
Kia ora, my name is Clegg and I live in the Cook Islands.
Aloha, my name is Hailey Campbell and I'm from the United States.
Kia ora, my name's Silas Zhang and I'm from Ōtautahi Christchurch in New Zealand.
I have memories of my youth swimming in the ocean, the vibrant coral reefs teeming with life. Now, those are memories of a past of Hawaii that does not exist any longer. Now, when you go in the water, our reefs are dull, lifeless, bleached and dying.
In some ways, my home state of Massachusetts could not seem more different than Vanuatu. They are separated by a vast distance, the cultures are extremely different, and Vanuatu is tropical and balmy while Massachusetts often accumulates snow piles taller than me. But because of the nature of climate change, they now face similar challenges such as warming waters, land loss due to rising seas, and unpredictable weather events. Between 2011 and 2021, the United Nations World Risk Report cited Vanuatu as the most at-risk nation for natural disasters. Extreme weather events like cyclones, heavy rain, and flooding frequently destroy infrastructure including housing, medical centers, schools, roads, and more.
This year's king tide on Funafuti Island was nothing like we have witnessed before. The only road that connects homes to public places like supermarkets, hospital, was submerged in water. Rocks and coastal waste were dumped onto the land, destroying the underground electricity generation, wrecking houses by the coastline, school children forced to stay at home.
Climate change isn't just about single events like wildfires, it's also about slow onset events that we must prepare for.
One of these indirect impacts is the tarameo, commonly known as the crown of thorns starfish. They have caused extensive damages to reefs, which are vital for protecting the island from severe storms and natural disasters, which are also becoming more frequent due to climate change.
I'm standing here in the Port Hills of Christchurch, where just weeks ago a wildfire raged and threatened lives and livelihoods. You can see behind me the blackened remains of what used to be native bush, pine forest, and farmland. This comes as officials have warned that as the climate changes, hotter and drier temperatures will cause the fire season to lengthen and intensify in New Zealand. The security challenges presented by climate change are broad-ranging and multifaceted. They include increased resource competition, higher intensity and more frequent adverse weather events, and mass migration. Climate change is seen as a threat multiplier and increasingly intersects with geostrategic competition and other non-traditional security challenges.
When the fires in Lahaina, Maui occurred, I witnessed the grief that accompanied the mass destruction of my friends' houses, loss of community members' lives, and the poisoning of our reef ecosystems. Unfortunately, the wildfires are merely a cautionary tale of what is to come. Across the state, 13 miles of beaches have been lost to coastal erosion, with 70% of the remaining beaches, 38 miles of roads, 80,000 cesspools that can pollute our environment, and 550 cultural sites threatened by sea level rise.
We should push for investment in clean energy and environmental technologies within our shores. Imported technologies have been instrumental in our progress so far. Despite an abundance of natural resources, Hawaii still produces its energy from imported petroleum, shipping it from faraway places like Libya and Argentina. This is expensive, creating energy burdens and raising the already high costs of living. It's also pollutive, emitting upstream and downstream greenhouse gases.
My people contributes less than 1% to climate change, yet they bear the brunt of the actions of big carbon emitters. They don't deserve this. By 2050, it is estimated that half the land area of the nation's capital will become flooded by tidal waters. Luckily, we are known to be the most resilient people on Earth, as the national vision of Tuvalu quotes, a peaceful, resilient, and prosperous Tuvalu. Youth of today needs to be given a seat on the table, not only to act as architects of a sustainable future, but to allow intergenerational discussions, locally and internationally, that may be crucial and beneficial in the face of the climate crisis today. A climate-secure Pacific would entail sustainable practices, resilient infrastructure, and most importantly, proactive policies in the region.
We must partner, understand, and act within the region and our communities to build a climate-secure Pacific. I envision a climate-secure Pacific in which communities have the tools and resources to adapt to the impacts of climate change and build resilience.
Some possible programs could be developing low-cost, resilient housing for communities that are vulnerable to cyclones, developing water supply resilience initiatives to protect fresh water sources, and implementing ecologically sustainable and locally led projects like a shoreline preservation initiative through mangrove conservation and restoration, which would reduce erosion, minimize saltwater intrusion, and protect coastal populations from storm surges and destructive winds.
My vision of a climate-secure Pacific starts with locally driven clean energy systems, resilient public infrastructure, and plans for federal and international assistance when we do face climate change.
My hope for a climate-secure Pacific and Hawaii is one where this ocean and this island can sustain its people once more. My hope for a climate-secure Pacific and Hawaii is one where our children do not grow up with coastlines littered in plastic. It is only when we can bring together traditional knowledge, values, and practice, and ways of knowing and being that we can reverse the effects of anthropogenic climate change.
As an island, we occupy the space between delay and action on the climate crisis. Though we suffer from delayed action globally, those who have stewarded this land for generations and those who call Hawaii home, there is hope and leadership within our suffering. To strengthen the fabric of our safety and our security, islands need sustained access to funding for climate adaptation solutions, not just for financing physical infrastructure, but actual capacity and personnel to get the job done. A climate-secure Pacific must also highlight new ways of collaborating with Indigenous and local community leaders that have deep connections to the land and experience in implementing adaptation solutions already. But more than anything, a climate-secure Pacific requires international collaboration to protect coral reefs, understand options for managed retreat, and finally end our global reliance on fossil fuels that are making impacts worse for all of our communities.
Being able to adopt both forms of conservation is pivotal for upholding culture and traditional values within society, whilst ensuring measurable action is achieved for intergenerational equity.
Help me save the seas my ancestors sailed and lived off hundreds of years ago. Save the unique cultural heritage of every Pacific island, their traditional knowledge and way of life. Time may be running out, but there is no better time to start than now.
Back in Christchurch, the community is now focused on recovery. As the signs of life return to the Port Hills, the community will work together to find a solution to make their climate more secure.